Good afternoon. Welcome to another Simply Mail Solutions webinar, where today I'm joined by Martin Barber, and Martin and myself are going to be stepping you through business voice, or you may know as cloud telephony. Now, cloud telephony's come a long way over the last few years, and is now been adopted by both small businesses as well as major corporations. And we're going to step you through the Microsoft Business Voice solution, and hopefully give you a significant amount of information about how you can use it to great effect and some of the key functionality that's available from it. Just to remind you, of course, us at SMS, we're here to inform and help our customers across all areas of cloud services. In many instances, we're talking with customers that are already working with us, but may not be aware of all of the functionality from the wide range of services that they've got from us. And of course, we're also very well aware and happy to help you with any security issues that you might have, and to step you through any of the tools that may assist you in getting greater functionality out of the solutions that we're offering to you. So we're always here to support you. We're UK based. Our support centre is UK based, and we'll be happy to take your calls at any time during and after this webinar. And of course, if you want to field any questions, and at the end of the webinar today, we'd be happy to take them with you. So firstly, Martin, perhaps if you could tell us a little bit about what is Business Voice.
Hi Chris, thanks very much for that. So Business Voice is basically a cloud-based phone system, basically, that replaces your local PBX in your office. So it's a service that you can subscribe to, and then basically it allows you to basically have a phone number or multiple phone numbers for your users. It's a service which allows you to have up to 300 seats of Business Voice. And it allows you to add things like calling plans and audio conferencing, that kind of thing, as well as other optional features such as minutes and per user and things like that.
So, could you give us a rundown on what the key features are for the Microsoft Business Voice product?
Yeah, so basically there's quite a lot of features to Business Voice. And it's basically it's listed on screen at the minute, but basically what the main ones are is local and international numbers, so they are available. So if you've got an office that's got offices based around the globe, you can have multiple numbers for that, or you can have a number to make you look like you're from another location. It allows things like auto attendance, where you can get the system to automatically do something on your behalf, such as take calls, etc. There's also call queuing, which allows you to have several amount of people in, say, a queue, a bit similar to what you'd have in, say, a call center, where you can ring a number and it would then be distributed to a key set of people. Or you can have it go into things like voicemail, that kind of thing. And then there's a new feature that's just been added in the last few months, which is holiday scheduling, which allows you to basically say the lines are closed from 5 o'clock, and it will then put it into a night mode type thing, where it basically will go to your voicemail, or it can go to another number that's for outside of office hours. And then you have other things like music on hold. You can do a menu system where you can basically say press 1 for sales, 2 for support. And you've also got domestic calling, international calling plan, and there's also toll-free and toll numbers as well. So it is quite there is a lot of features part of Business Voice. The list goes on. These are just some of the key features that it actually has.
So we've got really these days from Microsoft, we've got what we would define as a fully functional, fully featured cloud PBX solution, which just happens to also fully integrate in with other Microsoft services. So that's a great real step down in terms of the level of functionality that we've now got. Tell me about ease of use and setting up, and how to manage the service. How easy is it to assign a phone number, as an example?
Yeah, so basically what you would do is, in order to get it all up and running, you'd firstly buy the actual license for it for your 365 mailbox. You have to actually have a physical mailbox on a business plan for it to work. But basically, once you have that license, it's effectively, it gets assigned to your mailbox. You would go into the Teams admin panel, and then you would select your user within the account, and then you go into numbers, and you effectively you raise an order for a number. So if you want a number that's, say, a London number, you just put down the location being London, and it would give you the area codes that are available for London, because obviously London has several. Or you can choose anywhere in the world, and you just place an order for that number. That goes through, and then it's a case of assigning that number to the user that you want it to be, and it's live within. Typically, it's live within an hour, but at the moment, due to COVID, it's taking about 24 hours. But typically, usually, it takes about an hour to go through, and then the number will be live for people to ring.
Brilliant. So we've got our phone number now set up on the solution. Of course, that's great. That's outgoing. So now let's look at the other option, of course, which is what are our answering options and how can we set those up?
Yeah. So basically, call options that are available is briefly what I mentioned before about call queues. So basically what you can do is you can set up a queue, which basically will allow you can just have a queue for one person. It doesn't have to be multiple people. So you can set a queue up, and it goes to, say, goes to yourself. If you're not available, it'll then go to, say, voicemail or another landline or whatever number you want it to go to. So that is also an option that's available, but it is a case of when you're setting it up is literally you go into the call answering options, you add the users that you want to be assigned to that number or grouped to that number, and then you can choose what you want to do with that call, whether you want it to be constantly ringing, or go to, after so many rings, go to a voicemail, or or do something else. It's fully customizable. There's quite a lot of options in there that you can actually do, but it does everything that you would need it to do.
Great. So now we've set our outgoing up. Okay, great. We've now set the answering options up in terms of inbound calls that we've got to do, for that to operate. Of course, another common function that's used in either conventional or in cloud PBX solutions is the setting up and running of toll numbers. So perhaps if you could tell us a little bit about how we set up and implement toll numbers into our solution.
Yeah, so toll numbers can be anything from a free phone number or a number or like a premium type number. So they're the sort of two options that are available. Free phone numbers aren't available in every country. They're only in certain countries like the UK, and there is for the US as well. But in order to get any form of toll number, whether it's a paid one or a free phone one, you'd have to get what's known as communication credits. So basically, they would have to be ordered by the actual end user themselves or the global admin of the account, because obviously Microsoft require a payment detail up front for it. But basically, you get these communication credits, and they are a way to pay for that particular service. Because it's a free phone number, it's free phone to people that are ringing in, but obviously you'd have to put up the cost for that call, just like a toll number would be as well. So in Business Voice, there is that option that you can enable. So all you'd have to do is you purchase the communication credits, the amount that you want, and then basically you get the toll number, you order the toll number that you want, you assign it to a person or a queue, and then when they call that, it would use the communication credits in order to pay for that particular call that's made, basically. And like I say, it can be done domestically, or you can have an international phone number with that as well. But the main key thing with the toll number is taking this prepaid communication credits out, basically.
Brilliant, Marty. So we've covered the setting up of the outgoing, we've covered the setting up of the incoming, we've talked about setting up toll-free numbers. But of course, we also would want to set up specific policies within the system that enable or disable functionality, call availability, etc. Perhaps if you could just tell us a little bit about how we can set up and manage the administration of our new cloud telephony solution once we've got to this stage in the installation process.
Yeah, so one of the admin features, because there's several admin features within Business Voice, but there is an option called call policies, and this is basically a policy that sets a set of rules for your phone system to do pretty much what you want it to do for your users, which is which you can make it global org wide, so it'll affect everybody that's on that system. So what you can do with call policies is basically it can control whether or not you allow your staff to make private phone calls. You can set it to ring only certain type of numbers. You can do it so it will allow call forwarding or not. It's effectively like setting permissions on the actual system to prevent your users from doing certain things. So if you don't want them making private calls to personal numbers, you can restrict them from doing that. And you can also make all cold calls go to voicemail, for example, or if the phone's not available, you can make it go to voicemail or go to an external number, or you can get it calling other groups. So it's basically just a way of setting a set of permissions or set of criteria what you want that system to do, and it will then follow that, and then basically policies can be assigned to either org-wide, or you can assign individually as well. So you can actually just set a specific department can only do this policy. You might want one for accounts, one for sales, one for support, etc. So that's basically what the call policies allows you to do.
Great, and of course, now we've got that in place. Obviously, the next stage is really being able to refine and to be able to tailor the incoming call experience for either a customer or a supplier or anyone else that would be calling our business at that time, to be able to give a really good and satisfactory user experience for that person, and obviously to make our business look, sound and feel at the highest level of professionalism. So could you please tell me about how we set up those call queues and that administration so that we're able to deliver that kind of rich user experience that we would expect?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, call queues in more detail on the admin side. In order to set up a call queue, you would need what's known as a virtual user mailbox license. They are free. Your global admin would have to do it. Unfortunately, we can't add that for you. It's something that you need to add, but we can tell you how to do that. But it's a free add-on that you add to your 365 tenant, and that allows you to use call queues. Without that in place, you can't enable call queues. So once that virtual user is in place, that will then allow you to actually set up a proper queue where you can set it so it redirects calls to agents and things like that. So you can set up a queue called support, and you can have it playing hold music when they ring, or go to a menu system. And then what it does then is it will then redirect calls to agents that are basically either in a group or a distribution list, as they call, or a security group. You can also set the maximum queue size, how long you want it to time out, so how many rings it will do. So it could do, say, 10 rings, and then it will either end the call, or it'll go to voicemail, or go on to another number. You can also have shared voicemail services for callers, so everyone in the organization can access that down to permissional level that you do that. So it is a very customizable system, the call queuing option. But once you have that in place, we have several people that use this, by the way, and they find it great that what you can do with it, the way that it distributes calls and things like that. It works perfectly, really. Great.
So having decided perhaps to move forward with this kind of solution, of course, the next thing, which is going to be the big worry, and where the fear, uncertainty and doubt comes with any kind of IT system, and particularly one that involves voice that's mission critical to the business, of course, is the migration over of the service, the porting of the numbers, and how that's managed to ensure that there is no disruption in service, and there is the minimum effect on the day-to-day running of an organization that's got an existing legacy voice solution into place, but is wanting to put in this kind of solution. So I think a number of our listeners would be very keen to understand having heard the kind of functionality that's available, the kind of integration that this type of solution can offer, is to understand how that migrates across, how you can obtain and keep your existing numbers on that new solution, and as I've said, how you can actually minimize the disruption to the service as that's taking place. Martin.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, migrating numbers is obviously one of the key things that most companies are going to be looking at, because obviously they may have an existing PBX at the moment or another cloud-based service, say with something like BT or someone like that, and they'll obviously want to transfer the numbers that they've had for years over. That's fine, and that's not a problem. The majority of numbers can be transferred to Business Voice or Teams, but effectively via your actual admin portal. So in the same area that you raise the orders for your numbers, there is another section in there for transferring numbers in from other providers, and it is a case of filling a form in. You need a few bits of details like the phone number, the provider you're with. It does ask you for specific information about who you're with, certain access codes that you'll need to put that order in. But once the order's placed, Microsoft will then actually transfer the number in for you. As long as there's no issues with it, obviously we'd notify if that was the case, but they will basically do a port transfer of that number. They'll grab it from your existing provider, move it into Teams, and basically that process roughly takes 7 to 14 days. However, there is some certain circumstances, if there's ever an issue with it or they found a problem, it can take up to 30 days to actually transfer in. But the existing service will continue to work until the day of the transfer that comes in, but you would be notified when that would be. So that's effectively how you transfer the number in. So it is as pain-free as possible, but obviously we'd keep you updated on the process of that and how long that's going to take.
Yes, and as you've just said, really, there, Martin, as with all of these things, none of our customers are left alone to go through this journey of scoping, setting up the initial system, implementing the policies, and then migrating it across. That's why we're here. We're here to help you through that process to ensure that there is the minimum disruption, and that the new service comes up and you are able to take full advantage of all of the integration components that a full Microsoft solution of this type will give you, which is over the last couple of years with the integration fully with Teams, is a really exciting and very powerful proposition. We've got a few FAQs that are often asked of us when we discuss with customers the opportunity to migrate into this kind of solution, and we put 2 or 3 of them up here. So if we could perhaps just go through them briefly, Martin. So first one, of course, is what devices will the Business Voice solution work on?
So basically Business Voice will work on pretty much any device. So Windows, Apple, iPhone, Android, desk phones, but that's only certain ones that are approved. The link is on screen at the moment, but we can provide that link to you because there's only certain phones that will actually work with Teams itself. But generally it works on most platforms. It's just an app that you install. It's the same Teams app. All that happens is when Business Voice is enabled, the keypad enables itself. So inside the Teams app, when you go into the phone, you'll have a keypad. That's basically what happens when you add the service.
Right, and then the second question, which I'm going to ask and I'm going to answer, if I may, which is that can you enable Teams with call center functionality? Now, the answer is at this moment no. Okay, but what I'd like to do is to just take you through the roadmap that Microsoft have been on with Business Voice. This solution has had multiple releases over the last 2 years, increasing at each point significant functionality in the product. So there are other add-ons that are coming out shortly. There will be significant more functionality in the call center area. So don't discount the business voice solution. If you do have call center functionality that you're currently using, either A, we may be able to do that with the existing system, although it's within the functionality of the product, but may not be called or designated as call center. It actually is that functionality, and we've covered some of the points on that today. And then secondly, of course, we can advise you of the roadmap and the timescales for adding that further functionality, which of course, because Business Voice from Microsoft is a cloud solution, it's continually updated by Microsoft without any disruption at key points in the year as they continue to develop the product. So last question is, how can I get Business Voice? Which again, I'll answer this one, which is please call our sales team, please call our support team and talk to us about what you're currently using, what your aspirations are to get out of a new Business Voice solution, and let's work together and ascertain whether Business Voice from Microsoft is the right solution for you, and whether SMS are able to assist you with the scoping, migration, implementation, and then support of that service, which really brings us to our last but one slide today, which of course is, as we always say to you, is that how we fit in here is that we are a specialist cloud solution. Our solutions are Microsoft centric, so we supply either Microsoft or added value solutions that work alongside and or enhance Microsoft solutions. We've already said to you we're UK based, our help desk is UK based, and our staff are here to help you to put these solutions into place, solve your problems, and continue to get the best out of the solutions that we provide you with. So we're happy for you to call us at any point in time. On our last slide here is our website address, our email, our telephone number, and we're always here to take your calls. So I hope that the Business Voice webinar that we've gone through with you today has been of assistance and has helped you. We've had no further questions come up in the Q&A today, so hopefully we've been able to cover most of the key points at this point in the overview that we've done, and we look forward to seeing you again shortly. So firstly, goodbye from myself and
bye from myself.
And we look forward to seeing you again shortly with another SMS webinar. Take care, keep safe, see you soon.